Good day. I am Cesar Delgado Gembes. I am Peruvian. I live in Lima, Peru, and I am preparing this series of videos, reading a book that has been published very recently. A couple of years ago, I published this book. The title of the book is The 156 Veranderungen, the 156 variations, and the subtitle is Sonnets on Love's Loss. The purpose of this book is uh, depict in the very self text of the other side of the face. Let me read what I wrote when I published this book. Why 156 variations? Bach worked on the Goldenberg variations and Beethoven on the Diabelli variations. So, why not tackling the updating of the subject of love from the perspective priorly accomplished by Shakespeare, though from the baseline of a writer whose native language is not Shakespeare's, but Spanish. Needless to mention, the purpose may go well beyond the literary capacities of the author, like that of innumerable past and living English writing poets. Still, the exercise is worth the dedication. Once dreamt and imagined, only remains pursuing and striving for the accomplishment. The goal consists of bringing the postmodern mindset and experiences of an inhabitant in a globalized 21st century and the troubles brought about by the millennia to the world of tradition almost 500 years after the genius bard of Stratford upon Avon. No mercy nor compassion are admitted in this rough experience. This is a task not confined to whom lives English as a mother tongue, but rather to him who wishes to express his inner experience under the veiled and ciphered protection of an alien mean. Alien mean to me is English, which is not my mother tongue. The purpose I had in writing this book was trying to bring about in my own reflection the life that I have uh, experienced ever since I was an adolescent. Perhaps my first experiences of love were those that I had when I lived in an English environment. My first experiences later developed. I got married to a lady who was an American citizen. We lived together for nearly 22 years. Therefore, we expressed our feelings in English. Spanish, in that sense, became a second uh, a second dimension in our uh, experiences on life and love. As the years went by, you learn what means to love and what love is not. So, in order to share the sense in which I had the decision to publish the sonnets that I wrote, I wrote the foreword to this book, which I would like to read to you so you will know better what was the purpose when I decided to share my life, my experience in a language which is not my own, which I put into the uh, disponibility of those who may understand and may be willing to try the uh, task that I undertook when I prepared this book. This is a book on the diverse experience of loving, love desired, love accomplished, love requited, and love refused. The fleshly joy of love, love's swarming and fluttering, the pain and failures of love, the love that permits growth, the love that undermines it. This book is an expression of our times, not the previous centuries nor millennia. The love we live is a love grounded in the upsurge of a void, weariness, detachment, and fatigue, the illusion that allows the liberty of an imaginary fulfillment, a fulfillment which won't ever last long enough and should end more sooner than later. This is a book on the limited extension of what is destined to lose the liveliness, colorfulness, and sweetness of the imaginary and idyllic love. The content of the poetry emphasizes the opaqueness, pallidity, the wanness of the projected expectation of the sensory demise of love. The reader may find disappointment if the romantic or the ideal dimension of love is expected. The theme is exposed in its bare and material crudity, but also in its unattainable and symbolic nature. Certainly, the experience goes ineffably further beyond the human senses and takes seat in a dominion still for us hardly attainable and known. There is much more, though, beyond the gloomy void and disenchantment. Touching the bare matter, further, the custodian range of the secular environment, however, is the way to open the gates to the undergrounded dimensions of the feelings and the common knowledge of love. This is the space where the universal and transcendental shows its bearable and reachable access away from the limitation arisen from the age of our times, where man and the idea of love fuse and reunite in one single body, where flesh and ideal remain in a symbiotic and unbreachable union with the mystic symbol. The trivial bubble of banality and the vain or futile cracks and bursts. The ethereal nature of the essence taints with its colorlessness the vision beyond appearance. In this book, I express also some acknowledgments, and the trend of those acknowledgments are the following. The author desires to bear witness to the enthusiasm, encouragement, and impetus shared by with Louisa Gembes Buchanan, with whose support, I admit, I would have lacked the basic means to produce and to publish this much valued and wished for lifetime aim. I am in debt as well to friends who read the text and expressed their faith in the opportunity and convenience of its publishing. Thanks then to Lisa Marie Kopp and to Ivan Paul Silk for the labor they took under their hands in reading me before the publishing. Finally, I should mention my gratitude to Joyce Sofia Arrasco, whose liberal illustrations bring and purport the imagery of her sensitive interpretation that depicts the concepts and emotions to the subject of love's loss. Finally, a word on the trivial although meaningful origin of this pursuit. Back in June 1929, at the Catholic University Cultural Center in Lima, I enjoyed the mise en scène of the play 33 Variations, a theatralized version of the plot devised by Venezuelan dramaturg Moises Kaufman in 2007. His is a play on an episode in the life of Beethoven's based on the research of musicologist Catherine Brand in New York. Beethoven, impetus spirit in the play performed, as lively interpreted by Roberto Moll, was an irrepressibly luring bait installed in my soul I could not resist but biting. I made the 154 sonnets of Shakespeare my benchmark, and between June and August 2019, I let my heart wander in the murky meanders of the intensely varied and polymorphous, both loud and silent experiences of love, long past and still undergoing in my life. This is the end and raw product of the exposition and exploration. San Bartolo, March 2020. With this prologue, I aim then to share with you the 156 sonnets that I wrote on the subject of love's loss. As you may well realize, this is perhaps not the best of the atmospheres, but this is what I have. And I show in the book that I share with you just who I am, the way how I feel, and I don't pretend to do any sort of cosmetic impression. This is where I work. This is where I write. This is my little corner where this book was produced. So let me first then begin with the first of the 156 sonnets. Love, not pubic it is, but pubic it may also be. Lasting behooves what genuine was sown to mean. Splash the skin ashore in cool springs. Sore heart, praise the confined, may free to flee. What bonds about the we do joys call on, as it were the hidden half in the cosmic trail? Dams snag the flows in a course meet to dew. Will some gaze the cramp at ends, mild redeem? Perplexed, the yearning hand, a wise elder calls in. Is virtue's this land to drive where bias leads the stair, or vicious the pursuit after torches that life persuade its beams? Embers these that last beyond prison of bonds decreed. Unrestrained should boil glints indeed, and fumes into flame become, or mistaken had been the call those souls abide. This is the first of the sonnets of this book, the 156 Veranderungen, or Variations, written by me and published in 2019-2020. I will continue with this series, and I hope that you may share with me some of the thoughts, reflections, and feelings that I had while I wrote this book. Thank you. I will continue.